Alright, so first of all, I just got sap all over me because there's a tree. Bunch of sap everywhere. Second of all, I don't know if the audio is going to be good because it's still busy street and I don't got one of them mics doing the fuzzy shit quite yet. We're doing this real rinky dink right now. But I think that really suits kind of where I'm at in life. So here we are. Setup will get better. Maybe I'll post this. Maybe I won't. Maybe this will just be for me. Enjoy. Anyways. So what I want to talk about this time is that a situation that literally just happened maybe 10 minutes ago at most. And basically, I was on BART. You know how people will take the seats off the fucking BART seats. You know the cushion? Take the cushion off the BART seat. Who knows why? And so I had to grab one and put it on because I'm gonna sit the fuck down. I was working the whole shift. And I had done that, and there was a seat next to me and a seat next to me that weren't like that, they weren't fixed. And the old lady came on the bus or the train and was like, came around, saw that it wasn't up, and then walked back, and I put it on for her. So I'm like, you could just put it back on, you feel me? And she looked at it and didn't sit down still. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I texted Joy and I was like, niggas are hilarious on BART. It's they won't you feel me, they won't even put the seat back. And she was like, I wouldn't really want to put the seat back either because I'd have to touch it. And I was like, coward. And I was like, you're a fucking goddess. Shit wouldn't even make you some stupid shit. And as soon as I said it, I was like, because I try to be very conscious of the way that I talk with her. I haven't necessarily gotten to that point with everybody else in my life yet, unfortunately. I think there's something about the specific type of love that is in a romantic connection that helps you get a little further than where you already were. For me at least, right? But so I am. And so as soon as I said it, even though it was a joke, it was and she was like, oh, okay. And I'm very grateful for that response because it gave me the time to be like, you feel me? And really think about it. And I couldn't get that moment out of my head where I was like, that didn't feel right. That didn't feel good. I have so much sap on my hands right now. I'm still touching shit. So I guess what we're talking about today, I think we're gonna call these the back porch talks or the back porch rambles. It's really, honestly, probably the better title. But back porch talk, because I think today's topic is gonna be about right speech. I haven't done that much research into right speech or really Buddhism in general. But I think where this connects for me is that I instantly felt somewhere in my body that wasn't right. And I think that more often than not, when we do something, we know whether it's right or not. It's really about whether or not we have the presence of mind to be like, and acknowledge that, versus sometimes I realize some shit I did wasn't right. And I'm like, but I'm so caught in my ways that I'm like, and we gonna move past that. I'm not gonna do what it takes to make amends. I'm not gonna really look at what I just did and try to fix that. But because of how she responded and because it was her, I had that moment where I was like, and I couldn't let go of it. You feel me? And so, I did my apology. I was like, that didn't feel right. And I'm sorry that I spoke to her. You know. But even before we got to that point, there was a moment where I was like really beating myself up over it, where I was like, you talking that way about someone you really care about, even in a joking manner, is like crazy. And I realized, I make these types of jokes with my friends and shit. You know what I mean? And I'm not really mindful or cognizant of how detrimental that can be, especially built up time and time again with no real apology or no real effort to make amends. And so I'm not really entirely certain where the fixture is in that. Obviously, now I'm aware of it, because now I've had a moment where I was like, and I had a moment where I sat and now I'm talking about it right here. Like, I had other videos planned for right now. I had other shit. I have a little notebook. I sat at work today and was planning like little shit I wanted to talk about. And I probably will do that after this. You'll probably see 2 uploads if I upload this, where I'm in the same shirt in the same type of situation. But this was the one I had to do first, because I was like, it was weighing heavy on my heart that I have been moving at that level of unconsciousness for a while now, clearly. And I've had talks with my best friend B about it. Not necessarily this, but where she was like, hey, you're kind of mean sometimes. And to some degree, that childish part of me that's like, that's just how I am. And I've had conversation with that about that with her, where I was like, yeah, that ain't cool. But I hadn't put them together. And I'm not certain that talking about it has put it together to where it'll never happen again. But I'm at a point where I've had this extended realization, and now I can really put effort into it. And where I was saying before was that I had got to a point where I was like really beating myself up about it. And I was like, hold on. And now we're doing it to me too. Before I even went to say sorry or went to like say, hey, this is what it was, I realized where I was wrong. My fault, my bad. I apologize. Before I even got to that, I was beating myself up. And I don't think that when we get into those cycles of shame and we beat ourselves up about it, I was so preoccupied with that I hadn't even thought to go apologize yet. I was just like, I'm bad. So yeah, I think that it's like what they say, it's like for every one bad thing you say, you gotta say about 20 good things to counter that. And so I think that there probably is a moment right before you say it, just like there's a moment after you say it where you're like, I realized I was wrong, and then you like to decide what to do with that. There's probably a moment right before you say or do something where you're like, this don't feel like the one. And so I think that expanding the ability to be mindful in that moment ahead of time and after, so that you're like, you can really be clear about what you're about to do or what you just did, and either don't do it or be quick to be like, I own that. I own that I made that mistake. I'm going to do what I have to make amends for that mistake. And I think that it gets really hard when you're like, I did it again. And I'm stacking up all of these other things and I'm beating up on myself, and now it's all about me instead of what happened and what effect I had on that person. I don't really know how to end this, but that's where I'm at right now. And yeah, that's just the reflection for today. Shit, back porch talks. I'm out.